The New York Jets offensive line was ranked bottom 10 in the NFL. What's up, guys? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Before we get started today, I wanted to mention you can follow on socials, Matt O'Leary NY. Also, if you haven't already, please make sure to check out the Just Jets podcast. So PFF put out their offensive line rankings heading into the 2023 season. No surprise to see the Philadelphia Eagles up at the top, but I was curious to see where the New York Jets would fall on this list, and they fell in the bottom 10, 23rd. In the NFL, the New York Jets offensive line ranks. Some of their concerns for the Jets offensive line are fair, by the way. I don't think they are unfair concerns. And it's the tackle spots. Number one on the left-hand side is Dwayne Brown, who is up there in age, 38 years old, going to be turning 39, and is coming off of surgery. So that's risky, obviously. And then on the right-hand side is Mekhi Becton, who hasn't played in a couple of years. So that is a legitimate concern, and I have no gripes with them coming up with that as, you know, the reasoning for knocking it down a few spots. One of the bigger notes as well is that Elijah Vera Tucker is the best player on that offensive line, which is absolutely true. I think if he moves back inside to guard, which he's projected to do, more than likely he's expected to start at right guard. I think he has a real chance to not only be a Pro Bowler, but be an all-pro level guard, which is one of the best, you know, couple of offensive guards in the league, which would be really, really impressive. But I think 23 to me is not egregious, but it's a little bit low. I was looking at some of the teams in front of them, and I have them a few spots higher. So at 22, Buffalo was listed there, and their offensive line from left to right is Dawkins, McGovern, Morse, Bates, and Brown. I think the Jets' offensive line is better than that. I would put them ahead of the Buffalo Bills. 21, the Bears, Jones, Jenkins, Whitehair, Davis, and Wright, with a rookie on the right-hand side in Wright. And, you know, there's, I wouldn't put them ahead of the Jets. I think they should probably be a couple of spots lower. The Dolphins, Armstead, Eichenberg, Williams, Hunt, and Jackson. Armstead, great when healthy. He's someone else who is very rarely healthy. Eichenberg is one of the worst guards in football. So pairing them next to each other, I don't think makes a ton of sense. I would have them a little bit lower. And then the Raiders at 19, they have Miller, who is fantastic, obviously. Parham, James, Bars, and Illuminor. The interior of that offensive line stinks. The guards and center is not really ideal. So I think that I would end up putting the Jets at 18, which that's what, 5 spots ahead of where PFF had it, which I guess is kind of significant when you only have, you know, 32 that you're ranking, but I don't think 23 is completely disrespectful. I think they should be closer to middle of the pack. I have them at slightly below average at 18, but with a chance to be much higher. It's all going to be dependent on, you know, some key factors here. As we mentioned, what version of Dwayne Brown are you getting? Is he worse because he's up there in age and just had surgery, or is he better because after the surgery he's healthier? That is a fair and legit question that is obviously going to have an impact on that. At left guard, what version of Laken Tomlinson are you getting? Is he going to be as bad as what he was last year, or does he go back to how he was in San Francisco when he was an above average and Pro Bowl level starting guard? Joe Tippmann, is he starting right away? I would imagine that he does. And is he someone who comes in and is a stud from day one, a top 15 center in the league? That's going to be very dependent on the success of the offensive line. And at guard, AVT, fine. I'm not really worried about wherever he ends up playing. And then Mekhi, what does Mekhi look like? The one, is he the starter? Is it, you know, Billy Turner or Max Mitchell or Carter Warren, or is it Mekhi? My guess would be that it would be Becton, but, you know, he hasn't played in a few years. So what is he going to look like? There are some fair criticisms with the offensive line. I don't think bottom 10 is necessarily fair. I would be a little bit higher on it, but not by a whole lot. I have them 18. Where do you have the Jets offensive line ranked? Sound off below. I am Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you next time.